I started to give to the church with my first job. It was the same as my parents, as I had seen my parents give. I would just take 10% of my paycheck and I would give that to the church. And that's been what I've wanted to do and what I've tried to be consistent with is 10% of what I would give. And there have been seasons of my life where it was very difficult when it didn't make sense to give.
The scripture that comes to mind when I hear about giving, I know this may not sound like the normal one, but when we hear Philippians 4:8, that where we concentrate on things that are good, things that are pure, you can't help but want to give. You can't help but want to give because that love, that joy comes from God above. And if you have that in you, then that's gonna want to compel you to want to share that with others so then others can experience that joy. Everybody can experience, the things that are pure, things that are comforting and things like that. So we want to give the message of how God's joy can be in us, and that is through giving.
Looking at what it costs you to give, we just had this conversation actually a couple of days ago, and it's easy to look at it and say, I'm giving X amount of money every paycheck or every month, and thinking about what you could do with that money. But based on our conversation, I think it's important to reframe it in a way that helps you to remember why you're giving that money in the first place. It's not our money to begin with. And so us giving it up, we never had it to begin with.
To the person that is undecided on giving or hasn't necessarily started their giving journey, or maybe you are hit or miss but haven't really committed to consistency, I would really just say, as simple as it sounds, to trust God with it. I think very quickly you'll see the evidence of His blessings in your life for giving and for committing to that. I think that's part of what's been really instrumental in my giving journey, is thinking back to when I was a kid and just seeing the ways that God provided for our family through other people. And a lot of it, I really believe, is because my parents were faithful in their giving. And so seeing that as a kid really impacted my giving journey. And then as I've grown up and have my own life and, have my own bills and my own things that I have to be accountable for and pay for, I've seen the way that God really steps in and provides when you least expect it.
You see explosive growth in Acts chapter 2 when people are giving. And that's the kind of thing that we want here. Not that the number of the church would grow, but that the gospel would grow and people would come to know the Lord. And you really can't do that without faithfulness and giving what God has given you, giving it back.
I am particularly excited about the First Forward campaign, and just as we've been talking about what we're going to plan to give and what we're going to plan to commit for this year, because I've recently started volunteering and serving in the children's ministry. And that's actually, in the 14 years I've been here, one of the ministries I haven't really ever served in apart from VBS. So it's been really fun to see that and interact with the kids again, but also seeing it and seeing how it impacts the kids and the learning. It really just is a need, and it's so evident. And so I'm excited about that part of it, and just to hopefully in the next couple years see what those changes look like and see the way that God's gonna grow those children's hearts and even their parents, their grandparents, just see what the outcome is.
We cannot outgive God, and this is His ministry. And when we see it's His ministry, if we're given to His ministry, then we get to be a part of His work and His faithfulness. And we get to see that firsthand. We get to see it firsthand in the generation coming up from First Forward.